It feels weird to even say it's January 6th, but it is. Welcome in, January 6th, 2025. There have been some sarcastic columns written by people on the right, comments like, are you celebrating the anniversary since you've been obsessed over January 6th? There is an irony. There's a kind of a delicious irony to people having to witness Donald Trump be certified as president by Kamala Harris on January 6th. So for people who have been, completely obsessed over the date and how the country almost ended and the world was coming to a complete finale, and they were going to hang Mike Pence and they were going to do this, and they were going to do that, and it's all Trump's fault, of course, despite urging people to peacefully and patriotically let their voices be heard. That was what he said on that date 4 years ago. I'm thinking a lot about the people who are still in prison. And I've asked Tracy, my producer, to find out. We're trying to see if we can get Julie Kelly on the show because she does as good a job in covering this as anybody. Nobody really wants to cover it. It's unpleasant. It's not easy to cover. I've never excused the actions of those who turned violent that day. I also know that people have been rounded up and arrested because they walked through an open door that, in some cases, the video showed Capitol Police were letting them in. They practically escorted them. And then they wound up getting arrested. And I'm painfully aware of a guy who got stabbed the other day in New York City by a man who apparently had been arrested 88 times in New York City for assaulting strangers, largely. Shot a guy, stabbed a guy, 88 times. And that guy never, ever experienced appreciable incarceration. How'd you like to be stabbed by somebody who had been arrested in your city 88 times? And yet there are people still locked up over January 6th. And it just does not compute to me. Which leads to the question of, I want to ask you on this Monday and I know a lot of the country is hunkered down. It's kind of strange to hear about the wintry conditions all over the place. And here in Florida, it is a balmy 67 degrees. Sorry, I don't want to rub it in. I enjoy escaping the cold, wintry weather. I'm going to go to South Carolina. I think I'm going to be in for a real shock to my system later this week because it's supposed to be it's obviously cold right now. It's cold in Texas. It's cold. Might snow in Texas later in the week. So here's my question from Florida on a Monday. Simple question. Should Trump pardon the January 6th prisoners? And it's a tough question because the president-elect has indicated he'll look at that on a case-by-case basis. I hope he does. That seems fair to me. That seems reasonable. That seems professional. If some grandma walked into an open door that was held open by a Capitol Police officer and wound up spending, now literally years in prison, that's a problem. That's a problem. If people are still in prison without having received due process, how long does it take to prosecute somebody for activities or actions that they may or may not have taken 4 years ago on the Capitol on January 6th? Seriously, no matter what you think of the people, the Trump supporters who acted, and many non-Trump supporters, let's add, who acted the way they acted on January 6th, do you think it's normal to wait 4 years before you even prosecute them? I was reading an article this morning. One guy, they just started the process 2 months ago. So you mean to tell me it's normal to wait 3 years and 10 months before you begin the official proceedings against you because of your actions that day? Look, these are political prisoners. There's no other way to describe them. They are political prisoners. And think it's absolutely time, once Trump gets into office, that he takes a good, long, hard look at pardoning a whole bunch of them or granting them clemency. But am I too far out on a limb? Let me turn it over to you here in the Relief Factor studios for a Monday, 800-655-MIKE. Do you favor incoming President Trump, President-elect Trump, giving clemency, granting clemency, or pardoning some or any or all of the January 6th prisoners? Or do you think that's a bridge too far? And I mean, look at Liz Cheney. It was as if even useful idiots like Liz Cheney did the Democrats' bidding. And she gets an award. What'd she get? The presidential, was it the Medal of Honor? Or was it Freedom? You're honoring Liz Cheney? The great Molly Hemingway honored her a little bit differently over the weekend with Maria Bartiromo.
This award to Liz Cheney really is inappropriate. This is a woman who was hand-selected by Nancy Pelosi to run a committee that was extremely one-sided. Liz Cheney, in the course of running this committee to supposedly investigate the January 6th incident at the Capitol, she obstructed justice. She witness tampered. We have lots of reason to believe she witness tampered with Cassidy Hutchinson getting involved in that woman's actual legal representation. She hid evidence that exonerated Donald Trump. I mean, one of the big things that Liz Cheney had said was that Donald Trump had not, in fact, sought a presence at the Capitol to protect people who were protesting. And she had evidence when she conducted her interviews that the deputy chief of staff said he personally heard Donald Trump say that he thought 10,000 National Guard troops would be good, that he heard the chief of staff talk to the D.C. mayor encouraging her to request those troops. But she hid that evidence, completely failed to release that evidence until, and it only came out after Republicans took control of the House. This is not someone that you should be giving an award to, someone who's witness tampering, obstructing justice, and the like.
So do you think she broke the law? Because remember, in the last few weeks, there was some conversation about Biden issuing her a pardon. Is a pardon warranted?
Well, I think the pardon is being sought by people who know what she did because she is in legal jeopardy. At the very least, she should be investigated for this.
And you go from that characterization from a very smart lady. And, you know, do you care? I was struck by Mark Davis this morning. I start my day every day talking to Mark Davis, the morning host in Dallas, occasional guest host for us. He's a legendary talk radio host, and he's got great smarts. And he has a different sentiment than maybe you and I have. Because I was sickened Friday watching George Soros, Benny Thompson, Liz Cheney get presidential medals of freedom from Joe Biden. It's like Joe Biden is sticking it to, you know, MAGA and Trump world on his way out. It's like the ultimate trolling. It's gaslighting. What did Liz Cheney do to win an award? What did Benny Thompson do to win an award other than try to strip Trump of his Secret Service protection and try to get him killed? But Mark Davis said, you know what? There's a side of me that says I don't care. We won. They go away. They fade into obliviousness. I disagree. I think it's about accountability, and they shouldn't get away with what they think they're going to get away with. Do you agree with me, or do you agree with Mark? And poor Nancy Pelosi, who's finally back after her hip replacement, made that weird video we played for the other day on the airplane. I mean, she's not in great shape, but good enough shape to appear on CBS News and find fault with President Trump even considering pardoning anybody involved in January 6th 4 years ago.
Do you think the nonviolent attackers deserve to be pardoned?
The nonviolent, I think that's a violent attacker with the intention.
The violence itself.
Yeah.
The violent language, you think?
The violent language, yes, the intention. And, of course, the intention to attack the Vice President of the United States. Now, it didn't end that day. As you know, he called out to these people to continue their violence. My husband being a victim of all of that, and he still has injuries from that attack. So it just goes on and on. It isn't something that happens and then it's over. No, once you are attacked, you have consequences that continue. So I don't, it's really a strange person who's going to be president of the United States who thinks that it's okay to pardon people who are engaged in an attack.
What a reprehensible thing to do, to try to connect President Trump with the lunatic that broke into the Pelosi house and attacked her husband. To blame the incoming president of the United States. It will be so great when Nancy Pelosi sails off into the Happy Valley Sunset retirement home and just gets out of public space. One of the most reprehensible political figures we've ever had to suffer through in the history of the country.